Hello, NFL fans. Welcome back to Herd of the Line. It is our week two preseason show, our preseason week two show. Yeah, that sounds better. We're back. I have with me two of the newest co-hosts on the AAW network, Batch and Ollie. Gentlemen, how's the AFC North treating you this week?
Uh,
Uh,
it's looking okay. I'm not sure Batch will say the same.
no,
Trick question. No one gives a shit about the AFC North anymore. All right, there we go. And I usually don't cuss on the pod, so I owe a pound to some sort of charity, I think. Good to see you both. Thanks for chugging in. I am Chapman. By the way, I'm your host. It's good to have you guys back. We've got a load of stuff. We saw mostly backups all weekend, this weekend, in all the games, but there were some fun games. And oh, the tides have turned for some of the teams that looked dreadful last week. And some of the teams that were dreadful last week were still dreadful this week. So we're going to go through it a lot. We are returning the segment 10 Things We Learned. So when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of Atlanta talk radio, sports talk radio, not political talk radio. And there's this guy named Steak Shapiro in the Atlanta area, and he would always do this thing on the Monday with things I learned. So it's things we learned. We're preseason week two, so that's where I got that from. So anyway, that was for nobody but myself. Thank you for obliging me. Did you guys enjoy football this weekend? The European kind?
Uh,
uh,
no,
Ollie, you're not an EPL fan.
no. Well, no. I'm a United
Premier League.
fan, and we
Oh,
lost
you
2-0.
are.
We lost 2-0 to a team tipped to be bottom of the league. So
mauled by
yeah,
the Tigers.
yeah. We got mauled by the Tigers. Yeah, and I didn't watch it. I was at work, and I came to my break, and there were 150 notifications on my group chat with my mates, making sure I knew that we'd lost. So that was lovely.
There we
Whereas
go.
for me, I was happy. We played Wickham and got a point.
Yeah, can't
Arsenal beat
complain.
Coventry 3-0 on Friday. It was great. I enjoyed it. I had
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great time.
Arsenal were looking very good.
We did look good. And I'm glad to see Martin, who is one of my favorite players, back. He is also my neighbor, so I'm very go Martin. Or not really like not neighbor like next door, but up the road a little bit.
Close to you.
Way up the road. Like up the hill, probably another 30 minutes away, but still in North London there. There we go. All right, guys. We're actually here to talk about the NFL, not Premier League, though we do sometimes talk about the Premier League. Um, I did tell the guys before we jumped on that I joined my first Premier League, Fantasy Premier League, and I am the bottom of the barrel on all three leagues I'm in. So I'm very excited and I hate it. But I do have my big money league draft coming up. So if there's any, uh, fantasy nuggets you guys can give me, I take advice from everywhere and anywhere when it comes to fantasy. So shall we jump into hot topics before we get to things we learn, just to go running around the league really quick? Okay. I'm going to start with some news that Batch and I both care about, which is that Nick Chubb retired over the weekend. The Georgia great, the Browns great running back. How many years did he play in the league?
6, I believe.
Really, man. Feels like,
Feels like longer to me, but
yeah, it does feel like longer.
I might be
But you're
wrong,
you're
but
probably. Let me see. Why? What did he mean? Tell me about him on the Browns.
for me, as a Browns fan, he was, as far as offensive go, he was the highlight. I loved when he got the ball, he could stiff arm and he could just break tackles. And one of my favorites was his 90-yard run against the Falcons for a touchdown. And there was also another one where he touched the ball down at the 1 yard line. So then instead of going in for a touchdown, because he cared more about the team winning than actually the personal attributes of getting the touchdown. He didn't he wasn't one of these, cocky, arrogant players. He wasn't all in the media all the time. He very rarely gave any interviews, and the interviews he did give always meant something. He talked on the pitch, and that's exactly what you need in a sportsman.
Field. He talks on the field. We're gonna keep doing this, Batch.
Field.
He played for 7 years,
Seven.
6 with the Cleveland Browns, 1 with Houston Texans last year. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler and 1 second team All Pro. He was the back. I forgot about this, but he was the backup to Todd Gurley at Georgia for a spell. Anyway, and he tied Herschel Walker's 13 consecutive 100-yard game record that Herschel Walker held in Georgia, which is like, that's solid ground for them. It's like, great dude. Wish him the best in retirement. Wish he had played a little longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. All right, moving around here. Let's talk about injury things. A lot of people got injured this week, so I'm just going to hit them. I'm going to hit some of them. Stop me if you want to talk about anything. Saints running back Alvin Kamara will be out for a month with a sprained MCL. I'm going to totally butcher this, but the Chargers center, Biad,
I'm going to speak about it, so I've got the pronunciation down. It's Biadish.
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 He has got a season-ending ACL in their game. Jordan Tyson is expected to be out for the next couple of months with a hamstring injury. Vikings linebacker Jamal Adams is now out with the season, now out on season-ending IR. However, on the positive news, George Kittle is off the PUP list for the 49ers, which is good to hear. Also, Ashton Genty had sprained his ankle yesterday in practice for the Raiders. Looks like he's going to miss a few weeks, but doesn't seem um, too serious. I think that is
Have you spoken about
everything.
Vita Vea's deal? Did you speak about that last
Oh,
week?
about him getting his extension.
Yeah, he got the year extension. Did you speak about that
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week?
no,
Yeah.
no, we haven't. That's on. I'm doing injuries, then we're going to go to that. So we'll go to that
Okay.
now. It's a great. So all right, Vita Vea, yes, he had requested a trade, which everyone figured was a move to try to get some more money. There's no way Tampa Bay should let him leave. I think he's only like, he's not even 30 yet, is he? Is he right at 30 maybe? Anyway, I think they gave him an extra like 4 or 5 million, so he's assigned a one year $30 million deal, gets him up with some of the higher in that defensive line money. So I think that's actually well worth it for them, especially in a very pivotal season for them. Ollie, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, all the best sort of D linemen are on sort of 28 to 30 million a year, and I think he's well within his right to expect that sort of money as well. So he held out for the contract, and he's got it.
After losing Jalen Walker and also James Pierce Jr. being suspended for 8 games, the Falcons have signed Zadarius Smith, the former Pro Bowler, reuniting him with Kevin Stefanski. I think it's a very mid-level deal. I think he only had like a couple of sacks last year, maybe 3 or 4, but gives them at least some sort of form of pass rush. He's in leadership on that line that they need right now. They got a lot of really young defensive line talent, so he hopefully will be a positive there. And looking around, any other? Don't see anything else super huge on the deal front, unless you guys have anything.
Only that Trevon Diggs signed for the Seahawks. Browns signed veteran Texans defensive end Derek Barnett because we really needed some cover because Alex Wright has gone on to season long.
Oh, I missed him. Yeah, Alex
Well,
Wright, the Browns season in there. So, all right. We're gonna have a legal news part at the end here, but before we get to legal news, the Browns have named their starting quarterback for the season, which is going to be Deshaun Watson. I'm sure we will be discussing a little bit more Browns in our 10 things we've learned. Uh, I'll give you 30 to 60 seconds, Batch, if you need it.
It's quite challenging to be happy with the decision. Shadur isn't maybe, a franchise quarterback, but at the same time, anytime Deshaun has played, which is only 12 games in his 4 years of his contract that he's had or something like that, he's either got injured or he's not looked very good. And then I watched against the Bills, and for one quarter he still didn't look very good. So I can't be happy, but the only thing I can do is hope that we get it correct in the draft next year, because that's what I've got to look forward to, because we've got a lot of skill players, and that's we need at least a little bit of competent QB play.
Well, hopefully you'll get more than competent next year. But I will say, I think you're pointing in the right directions for all Browns fans. And, this could be a year of evaluation and growing for them. So we'll see. And I do like Todd Monken a lot, obviously for personal Georgia reasons.
I don't.
But, well, I mean, I don't know if it's a Ravens thing or a Lamar thing. I don't know what's over, but too much hate for him. But anyway. Hmm. I interested to see what happens, but we shall see. All right. A couple of legal things. Speaking of the Ravens, Rashad Bateman was arrested on a domestic violence thing. Probably not going to cost him any games immediately, right?
Yeah.
So they'll probably, it'll probably
Yeah.
take the season for them to figure that out. So
I'm
monitoring,
not.
he's out, right?
Yeah, I'm not too fussed if we end up having to suspend him because he's not great, and we've got some decent looking wide receivers that we've drafted this year. So if we can give them time to develop, then that would be awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
usually the team doesn't suspend anybody,
Yeah, with
but
the
we'll see.
NFL,
Yeah.
if he gets
So,
found guilty, there's not really another option, but that'll take a while.
well, he doesn't have to be found guilty to be
No,
suspended.
no.
JPJ was not found guilty, and so anyway, yeah, we'll check that out. Also, really weirdly, just today, right before the pod, we weren't going to get too much into this, but the
It's
the
just weird.
49ers billionaire owner, Ted York, was arrested on a misdemeanor in Ohio, suspected of engaging in prostitution.
It's
Not a
the
great
way
look.
it's the way they reported it was he paid $140 in some like it's the way
We
they
all forget
reported
it.
it.
We all forget about Kraft and his sojourn to the massage parlor a few years ago as well. These
I don't
billionaires,
like
they
I don't like to bring up massage parlors.
don't need that kind of humor here. But anyway, yeah, it's very weird. So we'll be monitoring that one. But typically when these owners get in trouble outside of a la maybe like Dan Snyder, nothing really happens because they
Yeah,
run the
he
show.
pleaded guilty. No, sorry, no contested, and took a $1,100 fine.
Yeah, so there we go. But also very embarrassing
Oh,
for
there
him.
was one thing we didn't mention. The first NFL player has gone back to college after signing a pro deal.
Yeah, so
Daquan Wright signed for the Browns again, and then has been waived, and now he is going back to college to play for LSU, which is a
Interesting.
it's
first.
strange. Yes, it's strange.
Yeah, I mean, wish we had our college buddies on from the college pod, the AEW college pod, which you should be listening to. There's an SEC preview that went out last week, which I'm on if you'd like to listen to that. Anyway, yeah, very weird. I don't think it's a great precedent, but I think he was undrafted, right?
Yeah, he was a UDFA.
Yeah, so I can I can see that. I think,
More
as long as no one's playing in the NFL and then going back, that's where we start getting real fishy. But anyway, Ollie, do you have a college team that you like? We haven't ever talked about that.
I'm not too big on college. I like Louisville because Lamar Jackson went there, but I don't really watch too much of it. It's my sort of aim this year to get more into it, I think.
All right. Well, don't pick Louisville. Just that's my advice.
I just love Lamar.
Um, I mean, love Lamar, but who cares? All right. And especially if you want a longevity in college football. Just a quick one. The Patriots have traded Kayshon Boutte to the Texans. Weirdly enough.
Yeah,
No, I mean he was a six-round pick. What, 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. So I think, not that big a deal, but interesting.
Jalen Reed in a 2028 seventh rounder, which after I updated, it came through the seventh rounder bit.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Do we have anything else? Because I know Batch loves to throw a little, curveball at me. Like once we're moving on,
Nope,
it's
nope.
usually Fletcher's deal. All right, cool. Ollie, as you're the newest member, I'm going to give you the floor to talk about what you learned this week and what the first thing you want to chat about from
Uh,
preseason week 2.
I learned this week that the Chargers look like they're probably going to have a weak O line again this year. You touched on it obviously in the hot topic session, but Tyler Beardish is out for the season with a torn patella. And it just kind of feels like a continuation of their struggles from last season with the O line. Obviously, Joe Alt was injured, and Rashawn Slater was also out all season. But it just feels like, yeah, I've learnt that Justin Herbert's gonna have to struggle with a lot of pressures all year.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think they really wanted to run the ball more this year too, with that, and Harbaugh's old school football, like with a lot of that, especially even what he did at Michigan, right? So, um, yeah, man, they just seem snake bit, like
They,
somehow.
they just can't
But
keep fit. I
yeah,
don't know what's going on over there.
it's rough. Um,
The guy who's coming to replace him is a second round pick from the draft last season. And the second round pick at center, you should hope he's pretty good. He played his whole college career at center, and against the 49ers, he allowed zero pressures. So, you know, it might end up being okay, but you've lost
might
a
be a
you've lost
wash.
a vet, lost a veteran at center,
Yeah.
which is never good.
Well, you always on your offensive and defensive line, you want
Experience,
backups. Well, not just experience, but you want backup. Yeah,
backups. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You want options. So yeah, it's tough. Um, all right, Chargers. What do we think, Batch?
I think more of the same. But there is the potential because I like Mike McDaniel and I think he could lead a good offense due to what is the one example is he made Tua look good and now Tua doesn't look the same player. He had some really good schemes.
Well,
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel, when he was with the Rams too, under Sean McVay, he was known for his running game, and then obviously the best of times in Miami. I mean, um, you think about Hill and Waddle, but also HN, sorry, when he was healthy was quite good too. So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what McDonald will do. I mean, they've been like the talk of all of the major national football podcasts and everything. Everyone loves them just because you know, Harbaugh and McDonald could not be two different dudes, but yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, Batch, what did you learn? Number 2.
LA Rams have more than competent backups because they didn't play their first choice um, team, but Stetson Bennett, 1931, 181 yards, averaged 5.1 yards, and then Hunter, their running back, rushed 12 times for 68 yards, and they absolutely dominated the Saints 34-0. So their backups probably could beat some of the first teamers from other teams. They've
Yeah,
got competent guys.
and they're still very young as well.
Yeah, yeah. Even Ty Simpson got in on the act with 73 yards, 8 from 12 completions.
I think the Rams are always going to draft well from the first round, aren't they? They're very well run.
They usually
Organization.
don't draft
They don't draft,
first rounds.
and when they
They
have,
draft
it's
very
gone
well.
very. They draft very well from the first round when they do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously the odds favorite to win the Super Bowl. So, and barring any major injury to Stafford, I would say, they have a really good shot of it. At least the title game, right? So, again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we will see. They have a really great roster and a great coach, and yeah. You know what I learned this week, guys? I learned that it's probably the best decision that the Raiders are making to start Kirk Cousins and let Fernando Mendoza sit for at least a couple of months before getting him in. Not because of his inconsistent play this weekend, where he, you know, threw a pick six and just didn't look fine but not great. Did get a touchdown in there, but he wasn't he looked like a rookie. And I think again, developing quarterbacks, even with someone like Mendoza, who's incredibly smart, very talented, obviously, probably still takes time. And I think it's probably better. I mean, as much as I feel like Kirk Cousins took money from the Falcons in a way. He is a guy that I think is a really good teammate and will probably do a lot of good to. And Mendoza and him are like choir boys almost. So I think they'll have a lot in common personally to and he can learn from Kirk, and how to do the job. Kirk is a great professional. As much as I wish he had had more success in Atlanta, he was a good dude. Even when things really sucked for him and he got benched and stuff, he didn't do the Mariota where he quit. Anyway, I just think it's actually, people want to see Mendoza now, and I get it. First overall pick, Heisman winner, national championship winner, all these things, but it's probably best for the Raiders. Maybe not even playing him the whole year, but at least not playing him for at least a couple of months and letting him still just kind of get his feet wet here after this last week. And I think that's actually a very smart decision from a franchise that's made a lot of bad decisions over the last, let's say, 25 years. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I watched the highlights on one of the channels, and the Texans' defense definitely went after him, and he's probably not used to that from such a high caliber defense. So, yeah, it makes a good choice to
Well,
sit
I
him.
mean, Indiana had a historically great in defense last year, and I think he probably went again in practice and day. But I mean, they're not, and obviously it wasn't NFL defense. But I get what you're saying. Ollie, you were going to say something? Sorry.
I was going to say something along the same lines. Like, yeah, you're not used to those NFL defenses, and it's just good to be able to get as many reps in during practice, so you can sort of get to grips with how much tougher the NFL is than college.
Very, yeah. So we are chopping back. So that's three things we've learned this week. We're gonna go back around again. We're going to Ollie.
I
Give us
just
your Come on, give us your Ravens. I know you
I
want to talk
just
about the
want to talk
Ravens.
about the
Go.
Ravens.
Yeah, I know you do. But
I just
just
think
remember, this is a holistic podcast. We can't just.
we learned Jesse Minter has nailed the Ravens defense. I think we've just looked last season. We looked so sort of stagnant and predictable on defense, which I think was something that caused us sort of a bit of struggle. But against the Vikings, there were so many sort of disguised plays where we had rushers dropping back into coverage, and then people who look like they're being coverage. I mean, some really strong blitzes, and obviously it's JJ McCarthy in the pocket, so it's not really saying a lot. But we got to him, we got to him 5 times, which is encouraging. And I think one move that I was really happy with, Mike Green, who we drafted in the second round last season. Some reason Zach Orr kept having him in coverage. He's much better as an edge rusher, and he looked really good against the Vikings on Saturday night. So, yeah, I'm just really sort of every preseason game that I see and every clip from training camp that I see, I just get more and more excited for this season. Yeah, not sure what I've learned there, but I just wanted to talk about the Ravens.
Who's your favorite rookie on the Ravens right now?
Jacoby Lane. He looks so good. I think he could be a bit of a sleeper in fantasy this year, because he'll be left right till the end. You can pick him up in a late round. Yeah, he just looks really good. He looks like just a really strong deep threat receiver, which we've not had for a while. Zay Flowers isn't a real deep threat guy, and Rashad Bateman's just kind of nothing. So I'm very happy with that draft pick.
Yeah, I don't know. It's real boomer bust with the old Ravens in fantasy typically. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're very excited.
I'm so excited.
Well, we got to be excited about football as a whole, though.
Of course.
That's what we're trying to do. So. Batch, what was the second thing you learned this weekend?
That Dijon Stribling keeps impressing me. He, as a wide receiver, I did say this was what impressed me from week one, and he now has impressed me 2 weeks in a row. He received 4 passes with 5 targets, 46 yards. He didn't get a touchdown, but he is quite the guy as they destroyed the Chargers with their O line. So he is he's going to be a beauty as far as fantasy goes.
Yeah, my problem with stribbling. Yeah, stribbling. Sorry, that's a running thing with me as I can't pronounce S words. But I think he's probably going to be inflated now. Like, and he's going to unless he like falls to you somewhere. Like, Ollie, do you play? I can't remember. Do you play fantasy football at all?
No, this is
No.
my first season doing it. I've never known enough people who are
Oh,
into
okay,
it
cool.
to
All
really get
right,
it.
nice batch. I can't remember if you're into it.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm in
Yeah.
quite a few leagues.
Yeah. I've been playing. So Ollie made fun of me for being an old guy because I didn't, have Twitter out the womb. But I have been playing fantasy for like a bajillion years. And yeah, Stribling, like I just think Stribling. Am I saying the name right?
Dribbling.
Stripling.
Stribling. Stribling, dude, I feel like everybody and their mom, and he might be one of those guys. I know he's been doing well at practice too, but like he might be one of those dudes that like he flashes and then like just has 4 touchdowns and maybe like 400 yards for the season.
Yeah,
And
but their
like
their depth chart at wide receiver isn't very
that's
decent.
fair, and
That's
that's
why
fair.
that's why I was thinking, yeah, is the fact that he could sort of work his way up the depth chart very quickly just because of the injuries they've had.
Yeah. So. Very good. That was you, right? And so it's
Yep.
my turn. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what I've learned is that the Commanders do not care at all about Jane Daniels and are prepared to let him just get totally destroyed this season again, which is so the Commanders slash the Washington team's MO because they did the same thing to now I'm going to forget his name. A million years ago. Ah, I did it. Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. So anyway, the similar quarterback that they drafted years ago that they also let get hurt during his rookie year. Um, I could see his freaking face. Robert Giffin, the third, RG3.
RG3.
Yes. So Jaden Daniels took his first reps this weekend, and it looked bad, dude. He made it 3 snaps, and I think he got sacked on one of those for like a 20-yard loss. Like the offense looked bad, and it wasn't even just that. The offensive line looked. I mean, Herbert can at make something, but I want Jaden Daniels because we need good quarterback play in this league, and I want him to get back to where he was 2 years ago. But man, you got to protect this guy, and he's quite small. That was sort of one of the concerns coming out of college, but he is so athletic and so good the ball, but man, he's got to have time. And I'm just really worried that Dan Quinn is going to get this dude murdered again this season. So I learned that the Commanders just don't care about their star quarterback, which is really weird to be. But anyway, so did you guys see any of the highlights? I mean, it literally was like a blooper reel.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
didn't.
he didn't look great.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Moving on. Ollie, what's the third thing you learned this weekend?
I learned that Jalen Milroe still doesn't look ready to be playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
He Drew Lock looked pretty good. I mean, accurate throwing, and then Milroe came on to replace him and threw 2 interceptions against Tennessee, which he still looks like he sort of has the same processing issues. The fundamentals just aren't there, and I don't know how long it's going to take him to get to an NFL caliber if he ever does get to an NFL caliber. So it's a shame because he's got his physical attributes are incredible, but
Yeah.
he's not got the intelligence or to make it at the top level.
What is this his second year in the NFL?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
second.
Yeah. It's a shame.
they're going to have to hope that Darnold stays fit. I mean, Locke would probably be QB2 at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't say I'm going to be that excited about any Alabama quarterback. Sorry, but a former, I should say, former Alabama quarterback, but he looked really good on those NCAA football games that he was that one that came back from. It was good. So, all right, Batch, what did you learn?
That even if it is the backups, the Dolphins still suck. The Giants took them to town, 26-3. Yeah, they play like I said, they played backups. Their quarterbacks were Miller and Gronowski. Miller had 6 of 11 completions, threw for 60 yards, and Gronowski threw for 1 yard. The Giants took them to town. Even Jameis Winston got a rushing touchdown. You know, Jameis Winston he's not a young buck anymore.
They are just laughably bad, aren't they?
Yep.
It's just so weird to me. Jameis Winston's on the Giants. Like,
As a person, I thought he was hilarious.
I love James Winston.
But he's boom or bust, as Chapman said earlier about Ravens players. But Winston is either throw an absolute bomb touchdown or an interception. There's no in between.
so shortly before the year I moved here, I went to the very first college playoff game ever at the Rose Bowl, and it was Winston FSU against Mariota's Oregon Ducks. And I watched Jameis Winston play one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback play in person in my life. He looked like he had never actually played the position, and the Ducks just smoked him. It was a very
Really?
fun game. Yeah, it was a very fun game. So
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Dolphins still suck.
Um, I learned this weekend that I have no idea what's going to happen in the NFC South. I think all these teams are literally within margins of each other, and it, they all have like. And nobody cares about this division except for those of us who are fans of teams that are in the division. But it is like it's so funny because um, 3 of the 4 of the teams have all been in the Super Bowl in the last 10 years, and they're still just the weirdest division ever. And the real reason is because we don't have quarterbacks, and outside of Baker, I think Baker's the most famous obvious quarterback. Um, and but we don't have the start. And once it's like the same thing in the AFC North. You get Lamar, you get Burrow. People start talking about you again, right? Not well. The Ravens have been good for a long time, but you know what I mean. Um, so anyway, it's so weird watching these teams because I literally like you could just bet on any of them. They all have strengths and weaknesses that are just equally offsetting. It's going to be a really fun year to watch, at least for me, to watch this division just because how weirdly dysfunctional it is. So anyway, I learned actually what I learned was I learned nothing about these teams, even though I think they all won this weekend, which is also the funniest thing ever. So the Falcons haven't won a preseason game in like 8 games. So since like 2023. So anyway, not that the preseason matters. I think the year that we went to the Super Bowl, we went 0-4 in the preseason. So back when we played 4 games, but just kind of funny to me that the NFC South is an enigma once again. So, and watch one of these teams will end up in the Super Bowl for no reason. So
I really enjoy the NFC South.
thank you, Ollie.
It's good fun. I enjoyed it last season.
Thank you. They are fun. It's fun in the AFC South. I can tell you that.
It's just fun because everyone's a bit naff, and it's just
Thank you, Ollie.
you never know. You just never know who's going to win each week.
Well, at least we made it to Super Bowls, my friend. Well, there we go. We got to. Who has one more? We need one more. We need a couple more because
I've got 9
things.
it's a bit
Yes.
boring. So if anyone's got something
Uh,
more a bit more interesting, then go for it.
mm, Go ahead. You go your boring one, and
All
I'll
right.
go.
I think that I've learned the Cowboys look like they're improving. And they've got some really good young depth coming through. Joe Milton looked very impressive when he played, and they've got a rookie linebacker called, again, I might mess this up, Jay Sean Barham. Um, just looked like a very very solid linebacker for a third round rookie. Um, and he might be able to steal the show as a rookie defender on Dallas from Caleb Downs. It's not particularly interesting, but I think they just look like they've got a lot of young depth coming through, and they could sort of evolve into quite a dangerous team, a team to worry about in the next few years.
Hmm.
There's a reason I had it fourth on my list.
Then
No, I don't think
every
that's actually. I don't think that's actually a bad one. I mean, I do think it's funny because I think those of us who've watched the NFL for a long time, and then also if you're an American in sports, the
I'm aware of the
Cowboys.
Cowboys,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, I know you know that, but it's just more of like, but you haven't had to listen to it for 30 years of your life. Yeah, so, but this team is actually, I mean, you went to the Joe Milton. Well, everybody, I think they might be quite good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
and then old man Jerry looks a genius again.
yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, trading your best player, Michael Parson, who looks like a generational defensive talent, depending on how things come back with his injury. Actually, they kind of broke even on it, or I think maybe did all right, like without paying him. So I don't know.
It
He
was
looked
like back in the day he made that trade for all those pieces, and they
that
all
wasn't
came
him.
about.
That was that was the coach. Uh,
Oh, was that the coach?
that
Was
was
it he took
Johnson.
credit on
Yeah,
that?
yeah. No, he didn't take credit on it. Everybody knows it was Jimmy. Jimmy Johnson did that. He's the one that created the trade value chart. I'll send you some links, Batch. You can there's a great documentary on Netflix about the Cowboys. You can learn. No, that's the reason why Jimmy Johnson left eventually is because he got bigger than Jerry, and Jerry doesn't like people being bigger than him. But no,
No,
that was all Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, so he traded Herschel Walker to the Lions. Was it the Lions? Yeah, I think it was the Lions for like this crazy haul. So no, it wasn't the Lions. Who was it? We'll look it up. Anyway, Ollie's like eyes rolling in the back of his head. Two old guys talking about stuff. All right. Anything else going ahead about week 2 of the preseason? I
I'm good.
mean,
There's not a lot much more we can talk about.
It's preseason.
yeah, it's preseason. All right. So I'm assuming, guys, I don't know much about yours, but are your teams playing most of their starters on this week 3 game, you think?
No, I don't think we will.
I'd hope we don't. I want everyone to stay fit for the start of the season.
See, typically this is the game. So we're playing our starters. This is where we find out, Penix might actually play this week. So
By
we
the
will
way, I went
see.
to the Vikings.
The Vikings, that was it. It was the Vikings. Sorry about that. Herschel Walker with the Vikings. I knew it was NFC North. At least that was close. See, when you start like football knowledge just starts going out the other end of the year. That's weird. You guys aren't gonna. They're not gonna. I would imagine typically you would play them in this last preseason game. It used to be like the fourth game was the one you didn't play them in, and the third game was. But yeah, especially if you didn't play them in the second one. So, well, all right.
Yeah,
I don't know what your coaches are doing. So anyway, well, I'm looking forward to seeing how our first team offense does this week because we're playing Miami, so we should hopefully not look
do a lot.
terrible. Hopefully, but it's Falcons. Who knows? Ollie, any camp battles on the Ravens side that you're excited about? Or you're looking at
I
anybody you
mean,
want to make the team?
oh, what was his? I've forgotten his name now. We had another edge rusher who looked pretty good. Let me just remind myself of his name.
I'm looking forward to on the Falcons. So we have a guy named Cash Jones, who was another Georgia player. He was a backup running back. So he's trying to make I think the fourth running back spot. He got 100 all-purpose yards in our game this week, both receiving and rushing. I think he might be a nice little you know, special teams guy, whatever. He's a he can catch the ball. So and he's got a cool name, Cash Jones. I mean, who would want Cash Jones on their team? So
Uh,
I've remembered the guy.
okay, here we go. Ollie, who are we looking
Yeah.
at?
It's Ethan Burke. He went undrafted out of Texas. And
Okay.
we picked him up, and he got a strip tackle against the Vikings on Saturday. I mean, he's sort of on the bubble of making the roster, but
UDFA, let's
yeah,
go.
it'll be cool to see an undrafted
Absolutely.
free agent come into the roster and perform. And
Batch,
we're
any
well, yeah,
UDF? Yeah. Any
we
UDFAs on the Browns you're hearing
we
about?
got Luke Floria, who was UDFA last year, but unfortunately injured his hamstring, stayed on IR for the year. But he scored the touchdown on Saturday.
What
Wide
position does he
receiver,
play?
wide
Wide
receiver.
receiver.
Yeah, so I'm hoping he can make the 53 man.
There we go. All right. So I got Cash Jones. What Ollie, what's the name again?
Ethan Burke.
Ethan Burke and then Batch.
Luke Floria.
All right. Hopefully we're prophesizers. Putting it out. Hopefully these guys make the 53. We shall see. Oh, I would like to mention though, Jack Strand. Remember that guy's name?
Jack Strand.
He looked
I've,
good.
I've seen some talk about him. I've heard he looked all right.
Yeah, he looked all right. I mean, he
Yeah,
looked terrible last week, but he looked pretty damn good this week. Think of poor man's Josh Allen. All right. So that's it. So anyway, all right. I think that's going to do it for us. We're not going to spend 4 hours talking about preseason week 2. So I will not be with you next week. I'll be on holiday. You guys can cover week 3, but also I think you're going to be doing the preseason uh, awards and whatnot. And then the week after that, we'll do our predictions for the AFC NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, and just whatever other bits we want to talk about right before we kick off the season. So we need to get that stuff already. We might see if we can talk Sam into joining us just to do a quick, maybe you guys can talk him into next week, doing a quick little fantasy bit. Remember, the Fantasy Den is also on right now that Sam's doing as part of the AAW network. Please like and subscribe this. Please share it with your friends. If you have any other people around who are looking for NFL podcasts done by amateurs, but like expert amateurs? No, just amateurs. We've been doing this. This will be our 3rd season going into the 2006 season. Very excited about it. There's also the College Pod that debuts on a Friday. They're great. I joined them last week to talk about the SEC, which was a lot of fun. Definitely listen to that. And if you want to get into college football, Ollie, it's a great little way to like bruise in. All I can say is don't be stupid. Pick a big school. Pick like I'm not saying you like got to pick a blue blood or whatever, but like pick a fun school. This is what I don't get. Like if you can pick a team to somewhere you want to go. You know what I mean? Like somewhere that you want to maybe go visit at some point. That's my only advice. Like I don't like, I think I respect anybody. Like I picked Arsenal years ago. I'm very glad I did. You know why I did? It was down to Liverpool and Arsenal, 2 teams with red. I wanted to keep the red aesthetic,
you
and I
made a good
chose right.
choice. You made a good
Made a good
choice.
choice. So there
Well,
we
my
go. And then I
my
married into an Arsenal family, so that was a really good choice for me.
perfect.
So Ollie, all right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. It was great to have you, Batch. Ollie, thank you so much. Have a good week, and we will talk to you later. We're still figuring it out. We're not hurdling things anymore. We're still figuring out how to end the show. So I'm just going to end it now. Have a good week. Like, subscribe, scroll down, follow us on all the socials, and we're almost to the regular season.
Let's go.